The frequency is open. Welcome. You have tuned in to Somber Signals FM with me, Uncle Hertz. Before we descend, I need a roll call. Go to the comments. Where are you and what time is it? Are you safe in the sun or is it the witching hour? Let me know. Tonight, 3 warnings. First, Jakarta. A man living alone finds a photo in his camera roll. It's a picture of him sleeping, but the angle isn't from the door. It was taken from the ceiling. Next, the tea plantation. A driver feels a weight on his roof. He finds muddy handprints on the back window, but they weren't on the outside, listeners. They were on the inside. Finally, Bali. A man on a late-night video call thinks he's alone, until the client on the screen starts screaming at the woman standing right behind his chair. Hit subscribe to lock the signal. Don't look behind you. Let's play the tape.
Look, I don't expect you to believe this. I'm an engineer. I deal in concrete, steel, load-bearing walls, things you can touch, things that make sense. Before I took this contract in Jakarta, I didn't believe in ghosts. I didn't believe in whatever the hell local wisdom implies. But I'm writing this because I found the photo on my phone this morning, and now I know I wasn't crazy. So, 6 months ago, my company transferred me to Indonesia, Jakarta, South Jakarta specifically. It's a nice area, big trees, old money. Part of my comp package included housing. They called it a rumah dinas, a company house. When I first saw the place, I thought I'd hit the jackpot. Seriously, it was this massive Dutch colonial-style villa. High ceilings, marble floors that echoed when you walked, huge windows. It was beautiful. A bit cold, maybe? Even in the tropical heat, the inside felt weirdly chilly. But I figured, hey, great insulation, right? There was this yard, too, huge backyard, and right smack in the middle, directly outside the master bedroom window, was this enormous tree. I later learned it was a frangipani tree. The locals call it Cambodia. It's funny. In the States, frangipani is just a flower. You put it in a lei, maybe print it on a surfboard. In Indonesia, well, people get nervous around them. They're usually found in cemeteries. My security guard, Pak Asep, nice guy, older, always smiling, he stopped smiling when he saw that tree. First night I moved in, Asep tells me, in his broken English, "Sir, excuse me, better you close the curtains before Maghrib." That's sunset. He said, do not look at the tree at night, and if you hear crying, do not open the door. I laughed. I actually laughed in his face. I said, don't worry, Pak, I don't believe in fairy tales.
God, I was so arrogant. The first 2 weeks were fine, just jet lag and traffic, but then the glitches started. Small stuff. It started with the smell. I'd be sitting in the living room, watching Netflix, AC blasting, windows sealed tight, and suddenly, wham, this overwhelming scent of jasmine flowers. It was thick, sickly sweet, like walking into a funeral home. I checked for air fresheners. I checked if the gardener had cut flowers. Nothing. Then the smell would change. It would go from flowers to something like rotting meat or a dead rat. It would linger for 10 seconds, just enough to make you gag, and then vanish. Gone. Back to the smell of floor cleaner. I told myself it was the drains. Jakarta plumbing isn't exactly world class. I bought candles. I ignored it.
Then came the noise. I think it was a Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. 2 a.m. I'm dead asleep, and I hear it. Wah! A baby crying. Distinct, loud. I sat up in bed. My heart was pounding. I mean, the house is detached. My nearest neighbor is 50 yards away behind a high wall. There shouldn't be a baby that close. I sat there, listening. It sounded like it was coming from the backyard, from the tree. My rational brain kicked in immediately. Cats. I'd read somewhere that fighting feral cats sound like human babies. That's all it was, just a couple of strays going at it. I put a pillow over my head and went back to sleep. But the next night, it happened again. Except this time, the crying stopped. It just cut off. And it was replaced by this giggling. It wasn't a baby's giggle. It was high-pitched, fast. And the worst part, it didn't sound like it was outside anymore. It sounded like it was coming from the ceiling vents, inside the room. I turned on all the lights in the house. I grabbed a kitchen knife. I know, stupid, right? Who brings a knife to a ghost fight? And I searched every room, the closets, the showers, under the beds. Nothing. Just an empty, echoing house. I told myself, you're stressed. It's the isolation. It's the new culture.
Then the physical stuff started, the violations. I have short hair, blonde, military cut. I live alone, no pets, no girlfriend. So why every single morning was I pulling long, wet strands of black hair out of my shower drain? Clumps of it, thick, coarse, black hair. I'd pull it out, gagging, throwing it in the trash. I tried to tell myself it was backing up from the sewer system. Is that even possible? I didn't want to think about the alternative. I stopped sleeping in the master bedroom. I moved to the guest room on the other side of the house. I locked the master bedroom door. It all came to a head 3 nights ago. It was raining, a massive tropical storm, thunder shaking the walls, and then, click. The power went out. Mati lampu. When the power dies in Jakarta, the silence is heavy. The hum of the AC stops, the fridge stops, the city noise dampens, and the heat comes back instantly. I was lying in the guest room, sweating, staring at the ceiling, using my phone as a flashlight, and then I heard it. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Not on the ceiling, on the door. The door to the guest room. I froze. My blood turned to ice. This wasn't a ghost noise. This was a physical sound. Someone was scratching the wood. Then the handle jiggled, slowly, up and down. I thought, burglar. That's actually a relief, right? A burglar is a person. I can hit a person. I yelled out, "Hey, I have a gun." I didn't. The scratching stopped. Silence. Then, a voice, soft, from the other side of the door. Mas. It's the Indonesian word for brother or sir, but the tone, it was mocking. It was playful. I didn't answer. I sat there for 3 hours until the sun came up. When the sun finally rose, I felt brave enough to open the door. The hallway was empty, but there were wet footprints. Muddy, bare footprints. They led from the master bedroom to my door, and then back. I packed a bag. I was done. I went to the master bedroom to get my passport from the safe. I walked in. The room smelled like jasmine, so strong I almost threw up. I looked out the window at the frangipani tree. There was something white hanging from the lowest branch. I thought it was a towel, maybe laundry that blew off the line. I don't know why I did it, but I unlocked the sliding glass door and stepped out onto the balcony. The air was heavy. I walked over to the tree. The white thing. It wasn't a towel. It was a dress. A dirty white dress.
and it wasn't empty. I looked up. She was floating. She wasn't standing on the branch. She was floating just under it. Her back was to me, long, matted black hair covering her entire upper body. But I saw her feet. That's the part that haunts me. Her feet were dangling inches off the grass, pale, gray skin, and her toes were pointed straight down like a ballerina, but broken. She started to turn around, slowly, like she was underwater. I didn't wait to see her face. I didn't wait to see if the stories were true. I ran. I grabbed my bag, left the keys on the counter, and I sprinted to the gate. I banged on the security post until Asep woke up. He took one look at my face, pale as a sheet, and he didn't ask a single question. He just opened the gate. I'm in a hotel now, the Grand Hyatt, 25th floor. Bright lights, lots of people. I feel safer. But here's the kicker. Here is why I'm writing this. I was scrolling through my phone this morning, looking for a photo of my passport to send to HR. I found a picture in my camera roll, time-stamped 3:03 a.m., 2 nights ago, the night of the blackout. I didn't take this picture. It's a photo of me sleeping in the guest bed. But the angle. The photo was taken from the ceiling, looking straight down. And in the corner of the frame, just at the edge, you can see a hand, a pale gray hand. I'm breaking my contract. I'm going home. But I still smell jasmine every time I close my eyes.
I used to trust technology implicitly. I mean, I'm a developer. I live my life by code, by logic. If Google Maps says turn left, I turn left. If the GPS says there's a faster route, I take it. I don't do that anymore. Not since the drive back from Bandung. So, a bit of context. I've been living in Jakarta for about a year. Digital nomad visa, working from cafes, living the dream, right? I decided to rent a car, a little Honda Brio, and drive up to Bandung for the weekend. The drive there was fine. Beautiful, actually. But the drive back, that was the mistake. It was Sunday night, late, maybe 11:30 p.m. I was trying to beat the traffic, but if you know Indonesia, you know that macet, the traffic jams, they defy logic. I was stuck on the Puncak Pass, just a sea of red taillights, not moving. I was tired. My eyes were burning. I just wanted to get home to my apartment in Kemang. Then my phone buzzed. Google Maps, that cheerful little notification, faster route found, saves 45 minutes. I looked at the map. It was a gray line, a detour that cut away from the main road and snaked through the tea plantations. I didn't think twice. I just spun the wheel and turned off the main highway. Within 5 minutes, the streetlights were gone. I was driving on this narrow, broken asphalt strip, pitch black, and the fog in Puncak is no joke. It rolled in so thick I could barely see the hood of my car. On both sides of me, just endless rows of key bushes. It felt like driving through a tunnel. The first weird thing, the first glitch, I guess you'd call it, was the sensors. My car has those proximity sensors, you know, the ones that beep if you get too close to a wall while parking. I'm doing about 40 kilometers an hour, middle of nowhere, nothing around me. Beep, beep, beep. The rear sensor goes off. I check the rearview mirror, nothing, just blackness and fog. Beep, beep, beep. It's screaming now, like I'm about to back into a wall, but I'm moving forward. I figured it was the humidity, maybe condensation on the sensors.
I turned the radio up to drown it out. But then, the car started to feel different. You know that feeling when you drive with the handbrake on, or when you're towing a heavy trailer? The engine was whining. The RPMs were shooting up to 4,000, 5,000, just to keep the car moving at a crawl. It felt heavy, like something massive had just landed on the roof. I tried to rationalize it. I thought, okay, steep incline, the car's underpowered, it's a cheap rental, but the road was flat. I was gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles were white. The air inside the car got freezing cold. I turned the AC off. It didn't help. It smelled damp, like wet earth and stale flowers, like old jasmine that started to rot. About 20 minutes in, I saw a light. It was a warung, a tiny wooden shack on the side of the road selling instant noodles and coffee. A single light bulb swinging in the wind. There was an old man standing out front. He was smoking a clove cigarette. I slowed down. I almost stopped. I wanted to ask for directions, maybe just see another human being. As my headlights swept over him, I saw his face. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking at the roof of my car. His eyes were wide, like bulging out of his head. He dropped his cigarette, and then he started waving, frantically, using both hands, waving me away, mouthing something. Jangan berhenti, jangan berhenti. Don't stop. He looked terrified, not of me, for me. My stomach dropped. I slammed on the gas. The car groaned, struggling against that invisible weight, but I forced it forward. I drove for another 10 minutes. The silence in the car was deafening. And then I heard it. Thump. Right above my head, on the metal roof. Thump, thump, thump. It sounded like crawling, like someone was on hands and knees, shifting their weight directly over the driver's seat. I was hyperventilating. I started praying. I'm not even religious, but I was saying the Lord's Prayer, mumbling it over and over. Then, the pothole. I didn't see it in the fog. The front left tire slammed into a deep hole. Bang! The car jolted violently. Reflexively, instinctively, I looked in the rearview mirror to see if I'd blown a tire. I didn't see the road. The interior light of the car was off. It was dark. But in the red glow of my taillights reflecting off the mist, I saw a face. She wasn't on the road behind me. She was pressing against the back windshield. Pale, gray, dead skin, long, wet black hair plastered all over the glass, and her eyes, they were just black pits. She was smiling, a wide, impossible smile that showed too many teeth. She lifted a hand and slammed it against the glass. Bam! I screamed. I think I screamed. I don't remember. I just mashed the accelerator to the floor. The engine roared. The car fishtailed. I could hear her laughing, not inside my head, audibly. It sounded like it was coming through the speakers, even though the radio was off. A high-pitched, chattering laugh. The weight on the car got heavier. The metal roof groaned. It sounded like it was buckling. I kept my eyes forward. I refused to look in the mirror again. I just kept screaming, "Go away! Go away!" Suddenly, streetlights. I burst out of the tea plantation and onto the main toll road. The bright yellow sodium lights hit the car. Instantly, and I mean instantly, the weight lifted. The engine revs dropped back to normal. The car shot forward like it had been cut loose from a cable. The cold air vanished. I didn't stop. I drove 120 all the way back to Jakarta. I didn't look in the mirror once.
I got to my apartment building. I pulled into the brightly lit parking garage. There's a security guard there 24/7. I felt safe. I got out of the car. My legs were jelly. I walked around to the back to check the damage. I expected to see the roof caved in. I expected scratches on the paint. There was nothing. The roof was pristine. The back bumper was fine. I thought, okay, you hallucinated. It was the fog. You were tired. I went to the back door to grab my bag from the back seat. I opened the door. The interior light flickered on. And that's when I saw them. On the back windshield, there were handprints. 2 of them. Muddy, oily, small, long-fingered handprints. But they weren't on the outside of the glass where I saw her. They were on the inside. She wasn't clinging to the roof, guys. She was in the back seat. She was in the car with me. I returned the rental the next morning. I paid the cleaning fee. I didn't say a word. But now, whenever I'm in a car, specifically in the back seat, I can't help but look at the window. I check for prints. And I never, ever take the shortcut.
Well, I tell you about the Bali magic, right? The spiritual awakening, the yoga, the smoothie bowls. They don't tell you about the darkness. And I don't mean like a lack of light. I mean the weight of the jungle at 3 a.m. So I'm a trader, crypto mostly, which means I don't sleep when normal people sleep. I work New York hours, so when everyone else in Ubud is waking up for sunrise yoga, I'm just finishing my shift. I rented this villa in Siam. You've seen the type on Instagram. Eco-luxe, brutalist concrete, infinity pool surrounded by dense jungle. And the main selling point, the open living concept. No walls, just pillars and a roof. The living room and the kitchen are just outside. It looked sick in the photos, seriously, but living there alone, at night, it feels like you're on a stage and the jungle's the audience, and the audience is watching. There was this cleaning lady, Ibu Wayan, sweet old woman. She came every afternoon. One day she saw me whistling, just jamming to Spotify, making coffee. She grabbed my arm, hard. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Blee, never whistle at night, please. You invite them." I was like, "Invite who, Ibu?" She just said, "The one who laughs."
Oh, I didn't listen, obviously. I'm from Sydney. We don't worry about jungle spirits. Fast forward to last Thursday. It's 3 a.m. I'm wired on caffeine. The markets are volatile. I walk to the kitchen, open kitchen, to refill my French press. The jungle was deafening. You've never been to Bali, you don't understand the noise. Cicadas, geckos, frogs. It's a wall of sound, screaming static. I was feeling good. I made a good trade, so I started whistling. Just a mindless tune. Silence. I mean, instant silence. It was like someone pulled the plug on the world. The cicadas stopped. The frogs stopped. Even the wind seemed to die down. I stood there, holding the kettle. The silence was heavy. It pressed against my ears. My brain went into rationalisation mode immediately. I thought, okay, snake. A king cobra or a monitor lizard must have moved nearby and the insects shut up to avoid being eaten. That makes sense, right? Biology. I poured my coffee and went back to my desk. My desk was facing the jungle, but I had my back to the open darkness behind me. I sat down, I put my headset on, and then I heard it. A laugh, a woman's laugh. But here's the thing, it was loud. It sounded like it was coming from the bottom of the ravine, hundreds of yards away, echoing up the valley. I remembered something Wayan told me. It's a specific rule about these things, the Kuntilanak. If the laugh is quiet, she's close. If the laugh is loud, she's far away. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. I thought, okay, creepy local woman laughing in the valley, but she's far away. It's fine.
I had a Zoom call scheduled with a client in New York, a big investor, let's call him Dave. I log on, I put on my professional face. Hey Dave, how's the market? You know, the usual BS. The connection was a bit laggy, but about 5 minutes in, Dave's face changes. He stops talking mid-sentence. He squints at his screen. He says, mate, I thought you lived alone. I laughed nervously. I said, I do. Why? Dave didn't laugh. He got closer to his camera. He looked confused, then scared. He whispered, "Who is the woman standing behind you?" My blood ran cold. I mean, literally freezing. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. My body locked up. You know that fight or flight response? Mine just broke. I looked at my own little self-view window in the corner of the Zoom call. Because of the lighting, I had a ring light on my face. The background was dark, pitch black. But then, I saw it. Just at the edge of the light, over my left shoulder. White cloth, dirty like old bandages. And hair. Long, stringy, black hair. It was draping over the headrest of my ergonomic office chair. She wasn't far away. The laugh was a trick. She wasn't in the valley. She was standing right behind me, and the smell hit me then. It wasn't the fresh jungle air. It was metallic, like tasting a penny, copper, blood, mixed with this overwhelming, cheap floral perfume, like flowers trying to cover up the scent of a carcass. I watched on the screen. I couldn't move. I was just staring at the monitor as a hand reached out from the darkness. Pale, grey, the nails were long and black. The hand moved slowly toward my neck. On the screen, I saw her fingers brush my collarbone. In reality, I felt the cold. It was like an ice cube sliding down my skin. Dave was screaming on the call now. "Run! Jesus Christ, run!" That broke the trance. I didn't save my work. I didn't grab my laptop. I didn't even turn around to look at her. I just launched myself out of the chair. I sprinted. I ran barefoot across the concrete, down the driveway, and jumped on my scooter. I didn't even have my helmet. I gunned it. I drove to the nearest Circle K and just sat under the fluorescent lights, shaking until the sun came up. I sent a moving crew to get my stuff the next day. I couldn't go back. I told them to keep the deposit. They sent me a photo of the place once they cleared it out. There was something they found. On the floor, right behind my desk chair. There was a puddle. Not water. It was this dark, sticky fluid and a pile of white flower kettles, melati flowers. I'm back in Sydney now. I live in a high-rise, 14th floor, lots of locks. But sometimes when I'm on a call late at night and the room gets quiet, I swear I can smell that perfume, and I never, ever whistle.